Hello, everyone, and welcome in. My name is Brian Bowman, and I am going to be your instructor for this course, which is course number 201, Synthesis and Sampling Methods, hosted here on sormena.org. We're just going to go through a little bit of logistical information before you get started with the main course content. We'll begin with prerequisites. There are no official prerequisites, aka there's nothing you need to know about synthesis and sampling before you get started, but it will be useful to have a basic understanding of at least one digital audio workstation, and at the very least, you need to know how to load plugins, how to locate instruments, how to route audio, how to route MIDI, and also how to hook up a MIDI controller or a MIDI keyboard. Since we're going to be working with a lot of instruments, it's useful to have something you can actually click to generate some sound with. If for some reason you ever find yourself getting lost or confused about a particular topic, I would recommend, before asking a question, to go through the first two courses. Just scroll through the content and see if there's a video there that might help you out, because everything on this website is designed to build on itself. You obviously don't have to go through those first two courses, but there's a reason why those are the first two courses, and this is the third one. It gives me the opportunity to really focus in on the synthesis methods themselves and not just have to worry about some basic terminology, DAW stuff, this, that, and the other. About this course, we're going to learn some of the different ways, aka the methods, that synthesized sounds are generated, shaped, and sculpted. So normally you have courses online or in person where they combine the word synthesis and sound design. And typically it is appropriate, because what they do is they teach you a particular synthesizer or even a particular synthesis method, and then immediately say, okay, with that information, I want you to make a bass sound, or I want you to make a lead sound. For this course and for our website, we're actually going to differentiate those two and kind of talk about them separately. This course is about the methods, and methods is really more of kind of an academic study where everything is pulled out of context. So we're not worried about making a bass sound that's going to fit into our song. We're more concerned with, what type of synthesizer is this? How does it generate its sound? What parameters can I use to change the sound over time? And how is all of that working? Sound design is really intention. Sound design is really mostly technique orientated. Okay, with methods, it's not really technique. It's more of, do you know it or do you not know it? Okay, so that's more of like the academic thing. Sound design is all about intention. So you're working on a hip hop beat, you're listening to some other songs, you come across a song and there's a particular sound in there that you're like, you know what, that type of sound would work so perfectly in this track that I'm working on. It doesn't matter how you get that sound, it's about getting it. That's how you judge your success or your failure. You might get lucky and just like stumble across the exact same preset that that person used. And for you as a sound designer that day, you can give yourself an A+. But really, sound design is much more than just the synthesis methods. And in a lot of ways, the synthesis methods aren't as important as the effects processing, as the layering, as the automation. All of that stuff is more geared towards sound design. Even some mixing techniques get thrown in there. But I do think that having a cursory understanding of the methods is basically necessary before you jump into sound design, because you still need to be able to tweak some settings on presets. And typically now, at least with popular music, most people are working from presets and just making minor tweaks and adjustments. We're going to go well beyond that in this course, but hopefully if sound design is where you ultimately want to end up, this information will still be useful and interesting to you. What do you need for this course? Well, technically you need nothing. Going back to the last slide, this is going to be more of an academic kind of look. So an old school pen and paper may be useful, or I guess nowadays it's more of a laptop or a tablet. But in terms of synthesizers, you don't need to purchase anything. Okay, and I don't want you just using what I'm using because you think it's quote unquote the best. I'm not necessarily endorsing any of these products. I'm just using them because they illustrate examples and concepts really well. music production in general is all about making the best of your situation, making the best of what you have. So it will be useful to have some synthesizers that you can experiment and practice with, but it's not like a requirement that you have X, Y, and Z synthesizer. There are plenty of free ones out there, and or you always have the option to demo some of the popular commercial options. These are the topics that we're going to be discussing in this course. This is broken down by week. And although you may look at this and think, whoa, this is way out of order, you'll actually understand the logic as we go through the course. And these will actually connect very well. The first 2 weeks will connect into each other. Week 3 and 4 connect really well into each other. And then week 5, it's kind of a standalone, but it does come back into sampling. But I just think that it's worth holding off FM synthesis, the most academic, the most theoretical of all the methods we'll be looking at until the end, so that you're not like, "Blah," at the beginning. And yeah, that was a sample you could use. So week 1 will be sampling. Week 2 we'll be talking about wave scan, additive, physical modeling, granular. Week 3, here's where we make that right turn. We'll be talking modular. Week 4, analog, virtual analog, wavetable. And then week 5, we finish up with frequency modulation and more. So stay tuned for all of that. It's going to be quite a fun journey through this course. For this course, there actually is no final project, or I should say there's nothing that you're going to be submitting. It would be very different if this was a sound design course. If that was the case, I'd be asking you to make a track using only sounds that you've created, to create a preset bank for your favorite synthesizer, to try and recreate some classic sounds or try to come as close as you can. But that's going to be something we're holding off for another day. This course is, again, just about understanding the concepts, very much academic. And so my recommendation is, once you've gone through the course and you've completed the course, to spend a month or two and just put away 30 minutes to an hour every day where you can load up some instruments, you can classify them using, this basic chart here, or all these different types of synthesis, and then experiment a little bit and see if you can get to a point where when you're making changes in that synthesizer, you know what to expect, and then it happens. That's really when you get to a point of knowing what it is you're doing, and then you're really ready to move on to sound design. So that is all you need to know about this course. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is a topic that I really enjoy, probably because I'm just not that great of a music producer, and I enjoy the more how is it generating the sound aspect. But enough of me talking. Let's jump in and let's begin with course number 201, Synthesis and Sampling Methods.